Hey guys, today I'm going to be kicking off my full month of drugstore videos with a Shop Miss A haul. So everything that you're going to see today, or just about everything, is around $1, and I am so excited. You guys told me about this site a while ago, and I've seen a few different favorite YouTubers of mine do videos on this brand as well, and I'm going to be focusing mainly on their house brand, which is AOA Studio. They do have other brands on the site, but everybody seems to have the most luck with the AOA brand. And another great thing about Shop Miss A is that they donate to worthy causes as well. So some of the products are part of their Paw Paw line, which donates to help animals who are abused and neglected. And then they also have an A+ line that they donate to, for education for kids, either locally or also around the world. So it's amazing that they do that, especially because I can't imagine that their profit margins are huge, being that everything is $1. So I think that's awesome. They're also cruelty free, and I just had so much fun picking out everything. It reminded me of Elf Cosmetics back in the day when everything was $1. I remember my sisters and I going on their website and just loading up our cart with everything that you could get a full face for like $10. So when I was shopping on this site, it reminded me a lot of that. And I got so many things, way more than I'm going to talk about in the video today. I just pulled out the products that I could do a full face with, but if you'd like to see another video on Shop Miss A, definitely let me know, because I do have other products that I can work into another video. So why don't we go ahead and jump right in and get started. All right, so first up we have the Perfect Filter Face Primer. So this is part of the Paw Paw line, which goes towards animals, and it's $1.55, and the claims on the website say that it helps to fill in pores and fine lines to make a silky soft base before applying foundation. It also says that it helps to make your foundation stay longer and controls oil throughout the day. So I did find that this primer has a very silky silicone feel and added just a slightly tacky base for my foundation to cling to, which I liked, but I didn't really see any pore smoothing benefits from this. I mean, maybe just a little bit, but not as much as like my L'Oreal Studio Secrets primer that I really like. But I did like how foundation applied on top of it, and I'm hoping that it helps my foundation to last a little bit longer throughout the day. Next up we have the AOA Drop Liquid Foundation, and this is part of the A+ line, so it goes towards helping kids with education, and this claims to be a lightweight natural formula that leaves a gorgeous satin finish. I got the wrong shade. Somehow I ordered the shade Nude in the medium tones. I want to say it was because a lot of the light shades weren't available, but I really wanted to try this formula because I've seen so many people rave about it. So this is just like a straight up Oompa Loompa orange. I had no idea how I was going to make this work. Luckily the texture is very thin and runny and weightless, so this formula is sheer enough that once I blended it out, it actually looked okay. I did have to blend it all the way down my neck and chest though to make sure that I matched. And along with this, I'm using the AOA Wonder Blender with the beveled edge, and this one is an amazing sponge. First of all, it's only $1. It blows up really big when you wet it, just like the Beauty Blender. It's super soft, exactly like the Beauty Blender. Like there's hardly any difference between the two, and I almost feel like I like this a little better because it has this beveled edge so you can get right up under your eyes with it, and it also just feels almost a little softer than the Beauty Blender as well. So I really like this, and along with it I also got this really cute stand to set it in, and it helps it to dry. So I just thought this was the cutest thing, and it's only $1 as well on the Shop Miss A site. So I just think this is going to look adorable sitting on my vanity table while at the same time preventing the sponge from growing mold. But as far as the foundation goes, I definitely want to order my correct shade of this because it's amazing. I loved the texture. It looks like skin when you put it on. It kind of just disappears. Like you don't feel like you're wearing foundation at all because it's so weightless. It doesn't have a huge amount of coverage, so that's something to keep in mind. But these days I really like just a light layer of coverage with my foundation, and then I go in and spot conceal just so I don't feel like I'm wearing a heavy mask on my face. I feel like it works with my over 40 skin a little bit better, and I just love the natural satiny finish of this. It's not too glowy or dewy. It's also not matte. So I'm 100% going to repurchase a new one of these. So I was hoping to get a concealer for this video as well, but they have a couple different types on the website, and all of them were sold out of the lightest shades, which is what I would normally choose. So I ended up getting this Wondercover corrector instead. This is the Peach Corrector, and on the website it says that this masks dark circles and spots and also promotes brightness and even skin tone for lighter complexions. I was hoping that this could maybe be a dupe or replacement for my Pixi Peach Corrector, and I wasn't disappointed. This is really nice. It's slightly different because this is a liquid while the Pixi one is a cream in a pot, but it worked exactly the same way. It covered up the darkness around my eyes beautifully. It also felt very creamy and blended out nicely with a good amount of coverage. So while the formulation is a little different than the Pixi, I feel like it works in the exact same way. And then I just went in with another concealer and just covered up the peach, and everything was completely canceled out and the area around my eyes looked much brighter. So I mean, for $1, I feel like this is a really, really good option. Next up for brows, I got the AOA Sculpting Brow Pencil in the shade Taupe. This is $1 as well, and it has one of those angled edges that a lot of brow pencils have now. I kind of prefer micro brow pencils, like the little skinny ones, but I was willing to give this one a shot for only $1. And as it turns out, it wasn't really the shape or color that I wasn't a fan of, but the pencil itself was a bit dry and hard to apply. So I kept feeling like I had to press really hard just to get it to show up on my skin. So I'm really not too happy with the way that my brows turned out. And I'll probably just go back to using one of my regular brow pencils because honestly, I wasn't too big a fan of this one. Next up, we have the AOA Lumi Blush. This one is also $1. And on the website, it says these baked blushes can be used dry or wet for more intense color payoff. Because each blush is uniquely baked with 2 to 3 colors, each one will be different from the others. They're super soft and pigmented with a beautiful sheen, and it says your face will be glowing with these blushes. So I was really hoping that these might be a dupe for like the Laura Geller blushes or the Milani baked blushes, but these are ultra shimmery and glowy, way more than those are. I actually applied way too much the first time, and I ended up having to go in with the damp beauty sponge and just kind of shear it out a bit. These also feel slightly different than the Milani ones or the Laura Geller because these kind of have like that really soft fuzzy feel, where those baked formulas feel a little bit harder and more slick and silky in the pan. So to me, this kind of feels and acts more like a highlighter than a blush. It's just way too glowy for me. It's a little bit too pigmented. I kind of felt like it was really hard to control. When I first dipped my brush in, I put on not enough, and then when I went back in to apply more, it was way too much. So I'm not really the biggest fan of this formula. I think the color's really pretty. If you love a glowy blush, you'll probably really like this, but it was just a little too much glow for me. Next up for eyes, I have a 25 color eyeshadow palette. This is in the shade XOXO, and it's not $1, but it's $10. So that's actually a really good price for a huge palette like this. And the website says this is a beautiful set of warm, neutral, and rosy brown tones made up of shimmers and mattes that are pigmented, buttery, and smooth. So I'll go ahead and show you some swatches. I was actually really blown away by this palette. The shades applied beautifully, both the mattes and the shimmers, and it's amazing to have this many shades for $10, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And I'll be applying the eyeshadow today with this brush set right here. This is the Paw Paw All About Eyes brush set. You get 10 different brushes in here for $10.55, so it's basically about $1 per brush, and these feel really soft and silky, and you'll see me using these in the clip right here. So I started out using the E128 brush, which is a small crease brush, and I used that to pick up this dusty pink matte shade and apply that all over my crease. I was pleasantly surprised by how pigmented this was and how it blended out. It wasn't powdery, and it gripped my skin really well, so I didn't have to worry about it blending away, but at the same time, it wasn't hard to blend either. So right off the bat, I was impressed with this formula. And next I took a slanted brush. This is the E133. And I dipped this into a deeper, cool toned brown shade, and I used this to just wing out my lash line, and I also took it down underneath my eye around the outer corner. And then I dipped into that same shade with the E132 brush. This is a really small blending brush, and I just applied more of it to the outer corner and just buffed that in. And on a side note, I really like how this brush set has some of these smaller brushes because it really helps when you have hooded eyes to be able to put the shadow exactly where you want it. Last, I picked up this gorgeous pink shimmery shade on my finger, and I packed this all over my lid. It was so smooth and effortless to apply. It was ultra pigmented. It had no fallout. I mean, it was honestly so easy to use. It was pretty much foolproof. I didn't struggle with this at all. And then moving on to lashes, I'm using the Fat Lash Mascara. This one is also $1, and it claims to give length and volume to your eyelashes, and that it's a long-lasting formula that's not going to smudge or run underneath your eyes. It's also supposed to be good for sensitive eyes and claims to not be clumpy. So I really like the brush on this one. It's skinny, it's easy to control, and it has the hard plastic bristle brushes, but they're not too long, so they don't poke you in the eyes that much. They also really grip to your lashes nicely, which I loved because it's easy to comb through any clumps that might come up. And even though this started out as a bit of a wet formula, it dries really fast. So I would suggest not waiting too long in between coats. I have a feeling that this is probably going to be a really long-lasting mascara just on how well it dries down. It almost reminded me of like a waterproof formula in that way. So hopefully it's going to be easy to remove at the end of the night. And then for my lips, I'm using the Lip Pop lip gloss. This one's also $1, and it says that it's the best lip gloss you will ever try. 100% non-sticky and adds the perfect amount of color and shine to your lips. So I actually really loved this lip gloss. It's truly not sticky at all, and this color, which is City Girl, is beautiful. The applicator's a little bit on the smaller side, so I did have to dip back into the tube a few times to get more product out, but it's not really a big deal. I also love that this has no detectable scent to it either, so if you're sensitive to fragrance in lip products, or if you just don't like it, you'll really like this one. And what I love about this too is just how smooth it is. It feels almost weightless going on. Like, you know those liquid lipsticks like the Milani Amore Matte, for example, how like very thin and almost weightless that is? It feels just like that going on, yet it doesn't dry down. It stays feeling moisturized. It's not sticky at all. It feels very silky and smooth. I mean, it's pretty unique for a lip gloss. I really can't think of one off the top of my head that reminds me of this at all. It's not goopy. It doesn't have a ton of shine to it. It has maybe just like a little bit. So it almost gives your lips more of like a satiny finish, like a bullet lipstick would, versus an actual gloss, even though it's called a gloss. So I really like this a lot, and I would definitely pick up more colors. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go about the rest of my day, and I'll check in with you later on at the end of the day and let you know how things held up. So I will see you guys back here in a little bit. Hey guys, I'm back. It's about 10 p.m. I meant to do this a lot earlier, but I ended up getting involved with dinner and then getting my son to bed. I was just actually in a dark room with him, so now the lights look really bright, so sorry if I'm squinting. But anyway, some quick final thoughts. The primer, I mean, I didn't really think it did all that much. I wouldn't see myself really reaching for this because usually I'm looking for something to smooth out my pores and texture and all that. So for me, this kind of, I don't know if it really helped the foundation last or not because I haven't been wearing the foundation that long, but there's so many primers that I really enjoy. So, I mean, I don't think that's really worth it in my opinion. Then the Buildable Satin Foundation, I feel like it held up pretty well. I mean, it's 10 o'clock at night, so it's been, gosh, probably like almost 12 hours now since I've been wearing everything, and I feel like it did hold up really well, at least until like the 8-hour mark. I am seeing like some redness peeking through on my nose now. I feel like it's kind of wearing away on my chin a little bit, but I would absolutely buy this again in the correct shade for my skin tone because I just loved how lightweight it was. It felt like I was wearing absolutely no foundation at all, and even though it didn't cover all that much, it still at least evened out my redness, and then anything beyond that I could just put a little concealer on and I'm good to go. So definitely want to repurchase that. I also think this sponge is amazing. I mean, it's $1. You really can't beat that. Even the L'Oreal one, which I was using, is at least, I want to say like $6 to $10 somewhere in there. So, I mean, for $1, honestly, I'm gonna like stock up and get a whole bunch of these if I can because it's awesome. Also, I thought this corrector was really good, and it's giving me hope for the concealer because I believe it's the same formula, and this was really opaque. Like, it does a great job at covering up, yet it was creamy at the same time. It didn't look cakey on my skin. So if the concealer is the same way, I think it's really gonna be awesome. So I'm hoping that that comes back in stock at some point, but I think this is a really great $1 alternative to my Pixie Peach Corrector. And oh, this brush set, really enjoyed using this today. I'm definitely going to keep using them and see how I feel about it going forward, but I love that they come in this case. You can close it up if you want to take it on travel or just leave them in here like on a desktop, and you know, it's just a great way to store them. And you know, I didn't use all of them, but they feel so soft. And the ones that I did use, I like that they include such small little tiny brushes, like even this little pointed one. This one is the E134. It's like a teeny tiny little pencil brush, and it reminds me almost exactly of the Refer one that I have, which are really expensive. It's almost the same. So I really think this brush set is a good deal for 10 bucks as well. And then the mascara, true to what they said, it didn't run under my eyes. There's no smudging at all. I actually went out for a walk with my son earlier and there was so much pollen out there. I was rubbing my eyes a little bit and still no smudging. The only thing is I feel like this doesn't give me quite as big of lashes as other mascaras just because it dries so fast that I can't build it up as much as other ones. But I did really like the brush on it and I think it did a pretty decent job. So I like that it's long lasting, and I mean, you can't beat $1. I really like the lip pop as well. Obviously it's worn off a long time ago, so it's not the most long-lasting lip product in the world. It's a gloss, so I really didn't expect it to be. It doesn't really have like any staining effect, but I did really like how it looked as long as it was on, and I want to say it was probably like about 2 hours or so. I think it's going to come off even quicker if you're eating or drinking, but I like that it doesn't have fragrance. I like the color, and I think it looked really nice. The brow pencil I am definitely going to skip on just because it was so hard to use and just really dry and it didn't show up. I mean, I can still see it in my brows and everything, but I didn't feel like I fully did my brows because I was just so tired of using this. I gave up after a little while so they don't look as filled in as they normally do. And then when it comes to this Lumi blush, I'm not really a fan. I think it was just a little too glowy for me. It's more like putting a highlighter on my cheeks. I do like blushes with a little bit of glow, but this was kind of overkill, so probably won't be getting any more shades of that. And then the eyeshadow palette. This surprised me. I was not expecting to like this formula, but it's actually a really good formula. I mean, here we are almost 12 hours later. My eyeshadow, I mean, while it doesn't look as vibrant as it did when I first applied it, I mean, I think it looks pretty good still for being 12 hours, and I didn't use primer underneath or anything. I didn't even put concealer or foundation on my lids, so this was just on completely dry, bare eyelids. So I was really impressed with this formula a lot. So anyway, guys, I feel like there were more hits than misses definitely from Shop Miss A. So I'd love to hear from you guys down in the comments below if you've purchased anything from there and things that you would recommend I try next. They do have a lot of things out of stock right now, so I'm hoping that they're gonna be restocking soon. But again, like I said, I do have some other things. I have some matte blushes, I have some eyeshadow crayons, I have another brush set, I have another primer to try. So I mean, let me know down in the comments if you think that's something you'd like to see as well. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button right there in the corner of your screen, and I'll see you all in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.